So I hate to be the bearer of bad news.
Well, I wasn't going to do nothing.
If you stop right there. So what you see is a person, he's talking, I want to hold you and kiss you. And he's doing all these things, right? And, and he's smiling. He's got a smile going on. He looked like a bowling pin, like, trying to go up the stairs. So he sits and he's very comfortable when he's looking at her. And then the moment that Chris Hansen walks in, immediately you kind of see the change. Like his head drops a little bit and it's a switch. Boom. Like now I got to play it up. And then he was like, I really did. You know what? And then he starts like acting like Simple Jack, right? So it's a switch. So it's a defense mechanism that he has is look how crippled I am. You have to feel sorry for me. And you cough.
Could you hear that?
Hear it. No. So anyway, so when you look at it, like if you put it back, you see the switch. It's almost like the demon entered him, like.
I understand that, but
yeah, I won't force you to do anything, sweetheart.
Look at his.
So I hate to be the bearer of bad news.
Well, I wasn't going to do nothing.
There's the switch. So you see him, and he's talking, and he's smiling, and he's got he speaks normal, like I just want. And then the moment that he shows up, he turns all weird, and he sits up, and he makes himself more hunched over than he was, and he has his hand out, and when seconds ago he was talking normal. He was, sitting there, and yeah, he's got, cerebral palsy, but it's not as bad as he makes it look like when he has to like play it up. And I'm not saying that he's not handicapped. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is that he goes from like a 6, he turns it all the way up to 40,
Yeah.
And you see it like even slows down his speech. And a lot of people say it's because he was nervous or because he was scared. You see that with the interrogator. When you see him talking, he's able to say like, my buddy has a wrestling name, da da da. And then when he knows that he has to play up his disability, he's like, and a lot of people think, and he begins to like make himself all crippled. It's just so disgusting.
Yeah. We can finish off this video here.
Okay.
No.
Why don't you tell me what your plan was tonight?
I didn't bring nothing with me. I didn't do nothing bad, and I would never force nobody to do anything against their will.
Sin doesn't seem to know that officers from the Warren County Sheriff's Office.
And in this moment, he thinks it worked.
Yeah.
And in this moment, he thinks that he's like, he got away with it. He's like, okay, this worked. So he's leaving, and I've never seen maybe I haven't seen the full footage. Well, I think I have, because there's a part where he says, you want to sit on my lap or something. But it's like the full uncut video. But there's a part where he gets up because he's like, you're free to go, So he gets up and he's smiling as he's leaving, like when he's turning away and he's walking towards the door, he's got like a smirk on his face. Like, well, got away with it again, because he's used to doing that. And he will actually talk in the interrogation about, him using his handicap. He doesn't say it like I acted super stupid, but you could tell that he played it up, and then his mom's like, oh, he's handicapped, so then they're like, oh,
Yeah.
So
because it did happen, we haven't brought that up, right? He was talking to a little girl, another one. Supposedly he was at first talking to her mom, which was like a 30 to 40-year-old lady. And the mom, for whatever reason, was like, hey, I want you to talk to my daughter. Which
she said she wanted me to date her daughter, and I acted like a pervert, which doesn't make sense. Or do we have the interrogation?
The part of the interrogation, like I clipped together a bunch of like weird pieces.
Okay. So he talks about that. Even the cop is like, doesn't make sense, because later he talks about she started crying because she got upset, and he's like, what is she upset about? She wanted you to date. Why did they get mad at you?
Yeah.
So
that whole thing, basically, the mom wanted for her to like date him or whatever. Supposedly, he started talking to her, saying that he only wanted, physical things from her and whatever.
All I want is sex.
Yeah. According to him, they followed him to like some steakhouse on his birthday. They were looking for him and they didn't find him. So he went to school, I don't know, some days later, and there's like a cop looking for him at home or something. And He's like, well, what do they want? Whatever. His mom ends up talking to this cop and says, like, just let him go. He's slow or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And he got away with it. He just had to apologize to the girl.
Yeah, he had to apologize. And even the cop was like, well, if that's what you wanted, what'd you have to apologize for? Even, so you kind of see like the mom wanting to confront him because he's like, what are you doing for your birthday? They say, happy birthday. Like, what are you doing for your birthday? He said he was going to a Japanese steakhouse. And he says, and then she showed up with a daughter, and obviously he didn't let them know what he looked like because he says that they walked through the whole restaurant and couldn't find him. So either he gave them a fake picture or didn't give them they were not expecting probably the handicapped guy in the fucking corner, to be the guy saying nasty shit. So instead they took it because he called her on the phone, so he had the phone number. So they probably tracked down the phone number, were able to get, because her boyfriend the mom's boyfriend was a cop. Yeah. So they were thinking of pressing charges, and then if he apologizes, we won't press charges, especially after they found out that he was handicapped. So they're probably like, he's just slow. And the mom probably said that, like, he's just slow. We don't know what she said, but he got away with it. So the lesson that he learned from that situation was not, fuck, I better stop talking to kids. The situation was, the lesson he learned was, if I just play up on my handicappedness, I can get away with anything. So
I have pieces of the interrogation. I kind of just clipped together a bunch of, dumb parts. So
yeah, you guys can all look this up,
Yeah, it's everywhere. There's a lot.
You think they did that just to fuck? Do you think they did that just to fuck with him? Like, he's sitting there and he looks so pissed. This fucking guy just showed up like, surprise!
It's surprise. Just so funny because like you can hear when they're walking in.
Surprise, motherfucker! And he put the giant. And look at that guy that's with him. He's trying so hard, probably not to laugh. They might as well. If I was that camera guy, look at that gigantic fucking camera, by the way. It looks like a laser cannon. He's gonna microwave him right there.
I wish.
What I would have done is I would have done what they did with Lorne, and they put the camera like really close to his face. Right. And remember, he shoved his head in between his legs, and the guy went behind him like he was shooting a monkey documentary, and he was like on the floor, like.
Wasn't he like holding his hat so they wouldn't show his bald head?
Yeah, and then they like at some point, well, he was doing this, like trying to get away from them, and then they kept like recording his bald head and going in between. Yeah. Then he said they almost bumped my nose, and then later he said, then they hit me in the nose. Like, okay. Yeah. So anyway, so big tips. 2 nuts.
A really bad part of this. The Daylight on the NBC guy said I wouldn't be under arrest. I could leave, but he lied to me.
Right. Take a minute.
I understand why I'm here.
Right.
But he shouldn't have lied to me.
Like so okay. Guy. So really quick. So you have Justin McPhetridge, and he's talking about the worst of all, like the worst thing out of all this is they said I can leave, because in his head he's like, oh, I get to go home. Even you do get a sense in this whole thing that in his head he's gonna go home, because he says as soon as I get home I'm gonna get rid of my, like he thinks you're gonna let him go because of this whole thing. So when he realizes that this cop is just sitting there, he's just chatting it up with him like he's relaxed, and so then he's like, fuck, like this is not working. So what does he resort to? Crying.
Crying. Yeah. It'll come up.
Should have lied to me.
She said she was 13. I thought she was 17. The reason I'm nervous is because, honestly, this can kill my mama.
Okay.
I am an only child. I don't like lawyers, and I'll be honest,
you don't like lawyers?
No.
Oh man, that was a Dustin? Fucking jackpot when you heard that. I don't like lawyers.
I don't like lawyers.
So the fact that he's like, when he's like, my disability isn't working, my elderly mother, my mama, I'm an only child, and he starts doing that, and the cop's like, okay, just like not buying it, like, all right, so it's just whatever. So also, by the way, guys, if you're ever in a situation where you're in an interrogation room, don't say shit and get a lawyer.
Don't do anything unless you're a pedophile. Then go ahead and say it.
Oh yeah, if you're a pedophile, just tell them everything you did and show them your phone. Tell them that in your iPod there's a file with pornography.
Let them in your house.
Yeah, just let them in your house. Let them in your ass. Anyway,
they'll do it either way.
They'll do it in prison.
McPhetridge?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the whole world will find me easily. Don't want trouble. I don't like trouble. I'd have never hurt her. I've heard reports like this in Virginia and other states and stuff like that. And these weirdos will bring ropes and knives and stuff. I didn't bring...
Do you have anything like that in your car?
No.
Because we want to verify that you didn't bring nothing to kill her or anything.
No, the only bad things I brought was my electric razor.
Mm-hmm.
Because she said she wanted to be shaved down there, and I don't know why I did that.
What is his deal with that?
With the being shaved?
It's so weird, because in the chat, when he talks about it, he says, like, you know, there's multiple days in the chat log where he's telling her, like, will you do it? Can you do it? Go ahead and do it. I want to see. Show me after you do it. And she's just like, no, like, I didn't do that. And he's like, why? Go ahead and do it. It's better. Do it. It'll make me happy. Like, are you okay?
Well, the
like,
fact that also
relax?
he's also a pressure predator. There's predators that will trick a kid into doing something like, oh, you know, like it'll make you more mature, or you'll look more mature if you send me these pictures, or show me how mature you really are. They trick kids into doing things. He's a pressure predator. Just do it. Come on, just do it. Just do it. And he's one of those.
Yeah.
But the fact that in that, what I love is the fact that he's fucked. But he admitted that he has the things on there. The cop did a really good job of saying, like, we want to make sure you didn't bring stuff to kill. All I brought was a razor. And you're like, like you just admit it. So now, you know, they were gonna search anyway his car. But like now they have like probable cause to like go in there. Like, oh, okay, yeah, that's what you said. Let's see what else you got. So another thing to notice is a lot of these pedophiles think that they're not as bad as other pedophiles. So when he said all these freaks that'll bring ropes and not, like, he's immediately setting a standard that he's not part of. I'm not this sick, you know.
Yeah.
But another thing is that he says, I never meant to hurt her, which yes, he did. All that stuff that he was talking about doing to her is very, you know, psychologically traumatizing. You know,
it's just that a lot of these people think that because they're having this conversation with this child, willingly having this conversation with them, that they're not gonna, you know, they're not hurting them, they're not doing anything wrong. I don't know why these people think that. So then when it comes to like, hey, like, you were gonna hurt this kid, like, no, I wasn't. I was never gonna force them to do anything. Like, they can't say yes.
Yeah, and they think that, you know, they like it, you know, because I'm telling them they like it. So they like it, you know, it's fine.
And I think I can't remember. I thought I brought some hand moisturizer or KY jelly. I don't know which it is. But as I am, I might have a panic attack. That's the only thing.
You throw KY jelly in the car, and just in case.
I wouldn't force myself on anybody, and I mean...
Well, let me ask you this.
I couldn't force myself.
You want to take her off somewhere? Buy her from her mom?
Yeah, that was a joke.
Okay.
A lot of people look down upon me for my disability, and it hurts, and
hey,
I've had mental breakdowns.
Were you going to have sex with her?
You want the honest truth?
That's why I'm sitting here.
I was going to meet her, and we may have, we may not have, if we got along. It was one of those 50-50 things, and I understand where you're coming from.
Are you going to make me read the chats again?
No, sir. I understand what we said, and
okay.
I asked her if we was.
Where do you want my sperm first?
I don't know.
Mouth, pussy, or ass?
I mean...
It sounds to me like you wanted to hurt somebody. Would you be mad if I got you drunk and had sex with you however I wanted, and the next day you were in pain?
See, that we did not read in the chat, but what he just said, that's horrible. Like, he's knowing that this is a little kid and, you know, violating this kid, there's going to be, like, physical repercussions. Like I said, this guy's a fucking monster, you know? like the way he looks and the way that he behaves, like he knows how to play it up, and it's fucking gross because and he uses disability for like I can't meet people and da 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 da. There's a lot of people out there like in wheelchairs. There's that comedian that can't talk, so he like uses that thing like, oh fuck you,
Yeah.
So there's that guy. I don't know him personally, but like all these people that have just because they're handicapped they don't use that as an excuse to go after children, right? This guy is trying to use that as an advantage of like, well, this is why I'm going after kids, expecting you to have like show sympathy for him, like, well, you did go after a kid, but look at the way you live, and he plays it up, and it's fucking sick. So let's finish up this this video, and then we'll talk a little bit more closing of like what they found in his house.
They're gonna mention a little
really
bit.
hard.
Okay.
I want to F you really hard one time. That's what you're telling me you want to do.
That was not.
If you have a meaningful relationship, were you wanting to have a meaningful relationship and make love to this girl, or were you wanting to just do her real hard and treat her bad and beat on her?
I was wanting to have a real relationship.
Do you have any pornography on your computer?
Yes, sir.
Anything of anybody underage?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? How could you not know? Do you burn any CDs or anything of it?
I think they have been burnt CDs of it, and I don't know exactly where they are. I'm getting rid of it as soon as I go home. I'm being honest with you, sir. As soon as I get out of here, I'll go home and delete any porno off the computer.
That's what infuriates me right there, is the fact that he thinks they're just going to let him go. All right, sorry there, Dustin Justin. Like, go on home, get out of here, you handicapped scoundrel.
He's so confident in like this act that he's putting on that like he thinks it's gonna work, that they're just gonna be like, like just get out of here. Whatever.
Just get out of here, man. Just don't do it again,
Yeah.
So he's like, as soon as I get out of here.
That's what happened the other time.
Yes. That he mentioned. I think that somebody like this, he was very confident and immediately acting this way. He does mention that he was aggravating, I don't know why he would use that terminology. He's like aggravating somebody. Yeah. And he's like, what's your favorite sexual position? And there's a part where if you listen, the cop is like, how old was she? And he says 21 or whatever the fuck it is. So it was another underage girl. And then he was like speaking very slow because he's making shit up as he goes along. I have a bad memory. Also, that's another thing, is they ask him his license plate, and he's, and he goes ahead and he like mentions his license plate. What's his license plate number? And he's able to give the numbers. And then the cop's like, oh, good memory there. Because he was like, I have a bad memory because of my condition, and then he says it several times. I have a bad memory. I'm trying to go back in my mind, but he's already demonstrated that he has a normally, he's cognitive. He's able to understand things. He has a good memory, better that he's like, I've had my truck for 5 years and I can't tell you my damn license plate. If somebody steals it, I'm in trouble. And he's like, just
oh, so gross.
So he demonstrates that he's mentally there. No part of him is slow, even though he plays that up, and you'll see it several times. So yeah, beat tips.
You chatted with a girl other than the girl that you got picked up for tonight?
In what manner?
Talking about sex or anything?
I was aggravating late 20-year-old.
Oh, right there. Go back. You see it?
Late 20-year-old.
A late 20-year-old.
Late 20-year-old. I thought he said 21, but late 20-year-old.
Well,
but he grips his forehead like fuck. And in his head, he's probably thinking a couple things. He's thinking like, okay, are they buying my excuse, or like, do they already know? Because when they when they're having him, he like really grips his head, and then he's about to say 17. He could have said 17 or 16. Because his S sounds.
And this is nothing, compared. This video is like 4.5 minutes, I think. The interrogation is like over an hour and a half long.
Over an hour and a half of him just lying, like kicking up the knobs of his handicapness, crying, fake crying, and when the cop doesn't buy it, he just turns it back.
Yeah.
About sex. Let me guess. NBC's gonna follow me around everywhere.
Well, they're the media, and I don't run the media, okay?
I'm wasting your time. But I mean, you're
Good luck to
doing
you, Justin.
doing what you need to.
You want to come out here? You come on with me.
Before this clip plays, this person drove 5.5 hours.
Yep. What's interesting is he did walk like a bowling pin, like he shit his pants when he got out of the car, but not to this extreme.
No.
So when you watch the clip of him getting out of the car, like he does walk like weird and stuff, but here he's definitely dialing it up at a 40.
Yeah.
Like I can't walk, I can't move with this, but drove 5.5 hours.
5.5 hours.
You know.
So after the interrogation, he does end up going to jail. I think he only ends up doing 6 years total.
Yeah.
And I didn't see anything about them like charging him for anything having to do with the images on his computer. They found over 100 pictures of children on his computer.
Well, images and videos.
And videos.
And videos of 100 children burned onto DVDs, files on his computer. So I don't know why they didn't pursue like the whole thing where they could have charged him for out of federal offense for attempt distribution of child pornography. Because why would you burn them on the DVDs? Yeah. So also
maybe at one point he was like, "Hey, I need to take these off the computer because somebody's gonna find it." He got scared, put it on the CD. But I mean, like,
well,
he was always burning CDs. He would make CDs for wrestlers, like wrestling.
Yeah, for Ricky Morton. Yeah, I'm calling you out, Ricky Morton. Why are you hanging out with this pedophile? No, he said that he doesn't have any association with him. He's just a guy that I would.
Yeah, but I mean, Justin over here did help him with multiple things besides DVDs. He set up a like a fundraiser thing because this dude wasn't paying his like child support, and he got
Legend himself is back in jail for back child support. Here's the story from his official website. Ricky was arrested, and then this dude came up and he was like, "Hey, I don't have anything to do with."
Except this dude was arrested because he owed $63,000 to his first wife for child support.
For child support. So anyway, so he does tell the cop, like, "Can I call my mama and let her know that you're on the way so she doesn't get mad?" This motherfucker, I'm convinced that his mom knew the kind of fucking pervert he was, and there probably had, otherwise why would he call her? For what? Like, so he wanted to call her before they went to search the house. Probably like, "All right, mama, computer panties." Like that's the code word. And she's probably going to go over there and like destroy his computer and like get rid of the DVD. Because why else, No. So
if I had a grown son that I found out was a pervert like this, no, I'm never speaking to that kid again.
Yeah. So yeah, it's one of those things where then they searched his house. They did not let him warn his mom. So they went, they found over 100 images. They found all kinds of shit. And he even talked about it, that he had child pornography. And he said that he had different files, he said, all around his computer, files, because I don't know why, like probably to keep them like separated.
He said that when he would download it, they were saving into different files, and he hadn't gone through to like look at everything yet. So he didn't know where they were.
I'm not very good with computers, so I don't know if that's like I don't know why you would do. I don't even know how to burn a fucking DVD, to be honest with you, or to make a CD. But like I don't know if that's something. I don't know. So he did that. He had DVDs and he also had files and more files of kids, So he went to prison. Did you have the letter that he wrote the judge?
I forgot to put it on my computer.
Basically, it's him saying like, I would like to be released in the custody of my mama. And he also wrote a letter. I don't know if it's the same letter, but he also wrote a letter to the judge saying like, I learned my lesson. You can let me out of prison now. And if you can't let me out of prison, can you please put a walk-in hot tub in my cell? And they're like, no, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
So, he does his time. And he gets out. He's on supervised probation. He goes and he fails a polygraph test that he was alone with a child. He also did not make any progress in his rape class.
Yep.
Instead, he saw it as a waste of time. He would, and this is from the therapist that would run the class, saying that he would, mock other people in the class, saying like, we can't change, like why even try? And he thought it was stupid, and he wasn't applying himself. He didn't have any remorse for what he did. Didn't see anything wrong with what he did.
And that's because like the other perverts in those classes were like, hey, this dude is just wasting everybody's time. Like, get rid of him and focus on, like us that we're trying to get through this class.
Yes.
His like counselor or whatever was saying that he was just like making excuses. Like, I guess like he didn't want to own up for what, own up to what he did.
Yeah. And he didn't show any remorse for his crime.
No.
So, yeah. So anyway, so did that. He ended up talking to teenage girls in a video game store, which is another violation. He had a computer that he was not supposed to have. Then he ended up having look at him. Holy shit. Jeez.
A couple of years ago.
He looks like a potato with pants. So he also was caught with a phone and watching pornography. He had pornography on his phone. They didn't specify what kind, but pornography on his phone. He was also didn't want to have a monitor on a computer. He wanted a computer, he said, and that he can't get a job because he doesn't have access to the internet. So he wanted internet access, but he doesn't want a monitor on it. So it's like
he made the dumbest excuse. He like sent a text to like the judge or his counselor or his something, and was like, I need internet on my phone because it's easier to order things from Walmart.
Yeah, because it's a lot more expensive.
Yeah, it's more expensive in store.
So so that was his excuse. But if this is really what you were doing, why the fuck do you have a problem with having a monitor on? You know what I mean?
Yeah, because he tells the judge in the letter like, I'm not going to do it anymore. Even talks about hanging himself. Like, dude is insane.
Yeah, how the fuck are you gonna? Anyway, I thought you can move. Anyway, so yeah, that's Justin McPhetridge. Again,
surface level Dustin McPhetridge.
Yes, very surface. So you guys can check out the chat log if you want to feel sick to your stomach. The interrogation is infuriating, and some parts are funny because it's like this dude, like this cop was very good. This is a very experienced police officer. And he tried to play him like a fiddle, like a Kentucky fiddle, but didn't work, so also he's like, fuck, like there's so much to this guy because like I said before, this guy is literally a fucking monster, So that's it. So it's Dustin McPhetridge. So after this, we might just take a break from, it's always like with these, like with child predators that it makes me sick and I need a break from my mental health. So we might just, do a little bit of a folklore. We're trying to get some Spanish, storytellers to tell us their haunted story, and then we'll do the whole episode en español. A ver, contame qué te pasó. Y te sacó un cuchillo la bruja y te dijo que te iba a matar y entonces te quitó los pantalones. So this episode was brought to you by Dustin McPhetridge pants. I'm kidding. No, this episode was brought to you by Paranormal Unveiled. So you have Nathan Static Voices in his new book. Go ahead and check it. It's not as new anymore, but it's a good book. The book downloading the paranormal handicapped ghosts that want to get into your. Anyway, so check him out. He's got this show, Paranormal Unveiled. So get the book. It's a great book. Also by Render the Darkness, a couple of crazy ladies out there telling stories, true crime and paranormal. They run the show, so check them out. Also by Dreamscape Chronicles. Check them out on Spotify. I think they got the music issue resolved, so you guys can now enjoy their show again. So yeah, great show. Also by T Public. Oh, geez, Louise, we forgot. How could we forget? Sean Burris in My Haunted Back Roads, Shadow Nation. Remember, folks, I'm not getting older. I'm just getting better. So Sean Burris, check him out at Shadow Nation Podcast on YouTube. Stupid cat. Anyway, also T Public, get yourself a pair of socks, get yourself a pair of shorts, a shirt, a mug. Get the mug. The mug is the shit. Those mugs, yeah, but don't put them in a dishwasher. I think that it kind of like scratches it. I don't know why. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I shouldn't put gravel in my dishwasher. Yeah, look at that one. Doesn't that look good?
I think now they have black, right?
Yes, now they have black. Also having different sizes. You can also have travel mugs now too. So check them out. Link in the description. So T Public, Nightmare Road merch. And that's it, guys. And remember to always look both ways, especially if you want to be shy down there.
Oh no.